Hello my fellow nerds and welcome to the Nerd Empire. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today, and I hope you all will enjoy today's reaction video. With that being said, let's get right into it, shall we? Okay. Alright, we are going to react to some more of Moreparz. And let's start with this one. Apparently the scientists have discovered a new fish.
Scientists just discovered a new fish. Looks fucking ridiculous.
What the hell is that?
This is the bumpy snailfish, a freshly discovered species found off the coast of California.
Oh god.
What makes this absolute specimen stick out is that it's a deep sea fish found at a depth of 3 kilometers. And
holy crap.
I'm here to tell you exactly why. Because once God finished building this thing, he took a step back, looked at it, realized exactly how fucking chopped it was, and punted that thing into the depths of the ocean where no one would ever see it again.
Be free!
Oh my god.
Thanks to the hubris of mankind, it is here before us today to take the piss out of.
Look at the top of his head!
I mean, fucking look at it. It is a profoundly unserious creature. I do not think a single fucking thought has ever spawned behind those eyes.
It looks so empty-headed. It looks so empty-headed.
Not to mention the fit on it. It looks like an aquatic, uncooked turkey with a f***ing smiley face drawn on it. Coming in at a solid 3 inches in length, Bumpy here is not the only species of snailfish. There's others that look like this. However, unlike his cousins, God deemed it so that this poor little f***er would be built like a shaved testicle. The scientific term for a pair of these should be a sack. However, despite the fact that he looks like a sperm cell with a receding hairline, I love him. He's so cute. Look at that smile. That shit reminds me of Sackboy on the PS3. I know when they got his ass on camera, he looked at it and went,
you know, when you showed me up, you put some of the stuffing in the wrong places, so I'm a little f***ed up. But will you take care of me forever and ever?
Scientists.
Oh my god. It looks like a horrid testicle with a smiley face. It looks so doopy.
Australia, this shrimp can cause explosions.
My main goal is to blow up.
Introducing the mantis shrimp, native to the west
I know
of the
this
Pacific
shrimp.
Ocean and possibly the coolest crustacean under the sea. Because this fluorescent armored sausage is actually a voracious, bloodthirsty predator rocking enough surveillance equipment to scare the CIA with a weapon powerful enough to surpass Metal Gear. See, the mantis shrimp is a highly effective predator, and they find and track their prey with easily effective predator.
It still makes me it's still fucking funny that he uses Dr. Disrespect for whenever he says predator.
And they find and track their prey with easily the most advanced set of eyes on the fucking planet. First off, each of these eye stalks can rotate independently like a periscope, giving them a full 360 degrees of vision. However, more importantly, they can see colours we can't. You see, the mantis shrimp's eyes contain a full 15 photoreceptor cones compared to our 3. Which is a fancy way of saying they can see in 16K HDR with ray tracing enabled at 500
oh god.
render distance.
Oh my piece.
Now, not only is the visual clarity unmatched, they can also see into the infrared and ultraviolet light spectrums. And despite all of this, they still can't find who asked. What they can, however, find is their next meal. The mantis shrimp subsists on a diet of fish, worms, squidward, and, most importantly, Mr. Krabs. Now, crabs famously exist inside of a defensive shell. So, how does this polite little gentleman break into the shell? Simple. He throws hands. That's right, weighing in at only 90 grams and 38 centimeters in length, the mantis shrimp has a punch that produces 15,000 newtons of force.
That's
That
one
is
too many zeros.
176 newtons per gram. So if a human was capable of that same kind of force, a right hook from someone who weighs 80 kilo would be like getting hit in the face with 6 sticks of dynamite. Now, to produce that force, its claw needs to be moving at 83 kilometers an hour, which is so fast it creates a vacuum in the water called a cavitation bubble, which then immediately collapses at such a speed it creates a miniature explosion that flashbangs the target and reaches a temperature hotter than the surface of the sun. Mr. Krabs is getting f***ing disintegrated.
Money, money, money.
This shrimp can cause explosion.
Yeah, the colorful shrimp, it looks cool and all, but it is a menace to the society of the ocean. And for any crab or crustacean.
This is Australia's most common snake, and that's quite a problem, because it's also one of the world's deadliest.
Of course.
The eastern brown snake, native to quite literally every state in the land down under. And unluckily for us, this asshole has earned himself a silver medal in the Note Rope Olympics venom category, coming in second place for the most venomous snake in the world. It is worth noting that third and first place are unsurprisingly also both held by Australian snakes.
Because of course it is.
God hates us. However, unlike first and third, the toxic middle...
Like, how do you deal with a snake that's just a complete problem and invades everything?
Child here is a far larger problem, because putting it lightly, he's a cunt.
Of course he is.
The eastern brown is one of the most territorial species of snake in the world, which is a scientific way of saying they operate on the US home defense philosophy. If you dare put a pinky toe onto this guy's property, he will bite your ass, injecting you with a hemotoxin that can send you to heaven via blood clot in under 30 minutes if left untreated. But hey, stay off his property and he'll leave you alone, right? Yeah, one problem. His property is your property.
Of course.
That's right, the eastern brown doesn't live out in the middle of nowhere like his slightly more deadly cousin. This fucker is so at home in the suburbs, he drives a f***ing Prius. You can find this burnt piece of spaghetti literally anywhere. Go to put your shoes on, he's turned them into a 2-bedroom home. Hop in the car to go to work. Yeah, unfortunately, that's his car.
How is this fucking snake getting inside everything? Like a car. How the fuck is he getting inside the goddamn car?
Now. Get to work on the job site? What do you know? He f***ing works here too. Try to take a shower after a long day at work? F*** off. He's moisturising. You can't even take a shit in the comfort of your own home without running the risk of the dunny being occupied.
I think just opening the toilet seat and seeing a like 3-foot long snake, I would probably shit myself right there. Like, how do you deal with that?
In fact, these bastards are so omnipresent that out of the 200 species of snake in the country, this ginormous asshole makes up 60% of snake bites.
60 and 41% of fatalities. God, this snake is just an absolute fucking menace.
What a
Guardian of the bowl.
This adorable little octopus is also the world's deadliest. Introducing the blue-ringed octopus, a species of cephalopod native to Australia, and in a shock to precisely 0 people at this point, it's venomous. Because of course it's f***ing venomous. Why wouldn't it be venomous? That'd make my life way too fucking easy. Now, to its credit, unlike most of the toxic bull in this hellscape I call home, they at least have the common decency to be coloured like a fucking neon sign. However, it immediately loses this credit by being the octopus equivalent of a hobbit, coming in smaller than a 50-cent coin.
It is tiny.
Is a problem, because it is the most venomous octopus in the world. That's right, this fluoro spaghetti ball is packed to the brim with neurotoxin, more specifically, tetrodotoxin. You know, the same shit that turns cooking a puff fish into a quick time event? Yeah, these little guys are packing it too. However, because it is Australian, the blue-ringed octopus is on violence timing and is the only animal in the world to use this shit as an offensive measure by way of a venomous bite. But what does the venom actually do? Well, imagine you're wading through the rock pools with the homies, and you accidentally disturb this little gentleman's residence. The blue ring, taking the American approach to home defense, suctions onto your leg and bites you. Best part, it's completely painless. So if you're distracted by how thick your mate's looking in those speedo,
My God. Oh, Pars, he's hilarious.
you aren't gonna feel shit. That is, until your face starts tingling like TV static. It's warm out here under the sun, but you weren't sweating like this 5 minutes ago, and now you got a headache. You start to feel sick, weak. You go to call out, but your voice comes out slurred like you just knocked back a bottle of vodka.
2 shots of vodka.
That is
Then
way more than
suddenly,
2
your legs
shots.
come out from under you, and you hit the beach. Fun fact about tetrodotoxin. It's a paralytic. Freezes up your muscles one by one, starting with your arms and legs, which is why you're kissing the sand. You know what else is a muscle? Your diaphragm, the muscle that controls your breathing. And yeah, turns those bad boys off too. And so, your chest stops rising and falling, and you suffocate to death right there on the beach. Now, you may be wondering, how come no one called an ambulance? That's easy. They didn't have time to. You went up to meet your ancestors in under 20 minutes.
Yeah,
God
that's
ordered your ass with same-day shipping, and this little delivered. Employee of the month.
employee of the month. This little dick. Well, that's what you get for disturbing him, I guess.
This snake can take your arm off.
'Tis but a scratch.
Scratch? Your arm's off.
Introducing the fertilance, a species of pit viper native to South America and Mexico, with this particular nope rope having quite possibly one of the nastiest fucking bites in the world.
Because of course it does.
This
It's
is
a
a
fucking
fairly
snake.
major problem, because this little has the temperament of an eshay at a train station, being incredibly aggressive and extremely territorial.
Both of you give me your wallets and your shoes, brah, otherwise I'll cave your heads in right here, right now, brah.
In fact, this toxic
Right here, right now,
garden
brah.
is such an aggressive little within its range, it makes up an average of 50% of
I wonder if it's more aggressive than that snake that we just saw for that's in Australia.
all snake bites. However, despite the huge number of attacks, it's only fatal in 6% of bites. So why is it such a problem? Just because you live the bite doesn't mean you'll want to. You see, when a fertilance bites you, this massive viper sinks its
Wow,
huge
he's really big.
inch-long fangs into your skin and injects you with 2 teaspoons of venom. You will at this point notice a little status effect bar appear on the bottom of your screen. Don't worry about that. That's a mystery mouse tool that'll hurt us later. Upon being bitten, your blood pressure immediately crashes lower than the stock market and you start to feel very ill. The bite wound feels like you've been shot in the leg, you start sweating like someone's looking through your browser history, and then you start puking your guts up. Shortly followed by you collapse into the ground in agony. Now, fertilance venom is hemorrhagic, so while you're having a frat boy moment on the ground, the venom is breaking down the walls of your blood vessels, causing massive internal bleeding. At the same time, it's seeping into your bloodstream, causing it to thicken and start throwing clots. Hey,
Ugh.
you're in luck. You were with a buddy when you got bitten. They rush you to the hospital, and because it's such a common snake bite, they have the anti-venom on hand and administer it immediately, counteracting the venom's effects. There is just one problem. The mystery mouse tool is still there, because anti-venom is not necromancy. So, all the dead tissue around the bite caused by the blood clots and internal bleeding, yeah, still very dead. In fact, it's so dead that it is rotting on your still alive body in a process called necrosis. I can't show you a photo of necrosis because it's genuinely disgusting, but to put it in...
I've seen what necrosis looks like, and trust me, you do not want to see that. That shit is really, really bad.
In a term you can understand, the snake applies scarlet rot. Now, so long as that rot's still attached to you, it's gonna spread. So, there's only one way to stop it. Cut it off.
Yep.
This is the deadliest snake in the world. Introducing the inland taipan, and being the deadliest venom noodle in the world, I will give you exactly one guess as to where it's found.
Because of course it is.
It's Australia.
Why not?
Of course it's fucking Australia. Be so serious here. Where the else did you think you were going to find it? Canada?
I swear, I've said it in my previous video. I don't understand how you Australians are able to live with basically everything under the sun in your country, trying to either bring you into serious, just unending pain or just death. It's like every second of every day you have to walk around being wary that something is going to hurt you so bad that you'll want to just knock the ever-living shit out of yourself so you don't feel it anymore, or it's gonna fucking kill you. Like how I feel so bad for you guys. You live in the devil's playground.
More specifically, as the name suggests, the taipan is found inland in the outback. Luckily, extremely far from civilization, because this homicidal hospital hose is the definition of size doesn't matter. Because despite having extremely small fangs for a venomous snake, coming in at only 6.2 millimeters, the taipan is here to show you that you absolutely can feel less than an inch, because those fangs contain the statistically deadliest snake venom on the fucking planet. Yeah, taipan venom is a pina colada of pain, containing, but not limited to, hemotoxins to cause blood clots, myotoxins for paralysis and necrosis, nephrotoxins to shut down your kidneys, and 3 different kinds of neurotoxin. Needless to say,
I swear to God, almost everything in Australia has a neurotoxin. Why neurotoxin?
if it bites you, you will get a headache, vomit up the entire contents of your stomach, collapse to the ground in agonizing pain, and then your heart and lungs will stop, sending you to meet God in under 15 minutes. And that venom
Yikes.
is so fucking potent that one bite contains enough toxin to do that to 100 people. But the funniest part of this snake's venom is that in the wild, they only hunt rats and f***ing mice. The deadliest venom on the planet, and they are using it to pack up Remy the rat. It's like hunting a rabbit with a f***ing AWP.
That's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Ooh!
Komodo dragons are horror villains. I mean, seriously, this industrial-sized lizard is easily one of the biggest assholes in the animal kingdom when it comes to hunting methods.
They
Packing
are
a PhD
fucking
in
huge.
Suffering and a double degree in biological warfare, purely because they cannot be expending effort to hunt. You see, Godzilla's little cousin here is the largest lizard in the world, weighing up to 166 kilos and being a full 3.13 meters in length, which means, for the short kings in my audience, if you're brave enough, bang a motor transport right there. Now, being the reptile equivalent of a Cadillac Escalade means that the Komodo dragon needs to consume a lot of calories to keep that bulk going. However, rather than using that bulk to proactively chase down and body slam its prey, they can take down prey 3 times their size, because as if being a reptilian tank was not enough, they are also venomous. And this isn't just your run-of-the-mill snake venom that, you know, gives you a nice quick 15-minute death. No, 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 no. A Komodo hunt starts with it running up to its prey and giving it a nice big chomp on the leg, injecting it with hemorrhagic venom. After biting, the Komodo dragon off and just sits there watching. The confused and bewildered animal runs off into the forest, leaking blood, allowing that Komodo dragon to track it like a DoorDash order. A week goes by, and that bite wound isn't closing because hemorrhagic venom prevents blood clots. So, the animal is still slowly bleeding out, and the Komodo is still watching. More time passes. That bite wound gets infected because Komodos are carrion feeders, meaning that the inside of their mouth is full of enough rotting flesh and bacteria to give Asmongold a run for his money.
Yeah, Fiji water isn't really the best.
The infection begins to drain the animal's strength, and the Komodo is still watching. Another week passes. The infection has spread, and the flesh has begun to
God, look at that. That's horrid.
rot. And you best believe that ass lizard is still there watching like he's waiting for his meal to heat up in the microwave. Once the bleeding, disease-ridden animal becomes too exhausted to move on its own and collapses, the Komodo strolls over and eats it alive, shredding it into chunks if it's larger, or if it's small enough, swallowing it whole.
I've actually seen the video of this, and my God, nature is just yikes. Like I saw this video on Twitter, and I saw that I was like, where the fuck is the mother?
As it screams on the way down. Even for me, man, that's fucked. Komodo drag. A gorilla can't beat 100 men in a fight.
Yeah, for me, when people were, you know, posting this saying who would win 100 men or one gorilla, the gorilla would get worn down.
He gets jumped. But that begs the question, which animal does win?
I mean, if you add a couple more gorillas, then yeah, the gorillas would win. But no, a singular gorilla would lose.
And the answer, stepping into the ring at 5 meters long and weighing in at a genuinely frightening 4,500 kilos.
Nearly 10,000 pounds of pure muscle. There's a lot of people that don't know. There is no blubber on this big fuck. He is pure, hardened muscle.
I present to you the Hippopotamus. Yeah, look, a hippo causing a 100 long line at the gates of heaven after a fight is honestly pretty plausible. You see, despite the fantastic PR work Moodang has done for the hippopotamus community,
Fucking chibi.
doesn't change the fact that Moto here is a sentient Ford F-150, the temperament of a fucking serial killer who can win this fight for one very specific
It's
reason.
basically a tank on
You can't
feet.
fucking hurt it. You say the hippopotamus is possibly the tankiest
I mean, look how fast that thing goes, and it's nearly 10,000 pounds.
land animal on the fucking planet, packing an unbelievably thick 2-inch hide. Now look, we all know 2 inches is a lot, especially in the sheets, but in the streets of the African savannah, this makes them practically
Yeah.
Don't believe me? Here is a hippopotamus walking away from 10 lions trying to convert it
Just
into
does
a
not give
family
a single fuck.
Notice how the hippopotamus does not give a single fuck. If Mufasa and his extended family can't hurt it, neither can you. However, don't let the fact that it's walking away fool you here. The hippopotamus is not a peaceful animal.
Oh no, I've seen and I've heard that hippos are just, they are mean. They are psychotic, mean sons of bitches.
They are, in fact, violent, psychopathic, 4.5-ton thundercats that can and will bite you in half. A hippo's jaw produces 2,000 psi of pure crushing force. So if he catches your ass, you are the watermelon. And as if the hydraulic press wasn't bad enough, don't forget they've got two 20-inch fangs in that mouth that'll put a hole in you big enough to stick your f***ing arm through. But honestly, the bite doesn't even f***ing matter. It weighs 4.5 tons and can run at 30k an hour.
A lot of people don't know the hippopotamus, for where they are, they're actually very, very good for the ecosystem, because they also create, just by moving around, they also create a lot of water channels. So they're actually very good for the ecosystem.
Getting hit by a charging hippo is like getting hit by a f***ing bus. There is no way we are winning a fight against something that could probably take out 10 people just by rolling over.
The thing is a moving steamroller.
In summary, don't f with the hungry hippo. A gorilla.
Oh yeah, there was. I remember seeing that there was a croc that tried to fuck with Hippo's child, and basically the entire clan of hippos just basically jumped that one croc, and that was basically what it looked like.
Wasp is basically a xenomorph. Introducing the tarantula hawk wasp, possibly one of the most nightmare-inducing insects on the planet. And the reason it's such a threat to your mental health is because its hunting and reproduction strategy is ripped straight from Ellen Ripley's autobiography.
I love Alien.
But
It was
before
such a
we get
great
to the
series.
strats, you're gonna have to learn a little bit about it first. Native to Australia, because of course it fucking is. This fucking
Why not?
is the
Everything's
largest
just-
wasp on the planet, coming in at a massive 2.5.
I mean, look at how big that fucking thing is. It should not be getting that big.
Inches, which I mean, boys, we would all agree, well above average, right? Huge. And this is probably the most effective 2 inches has ever been, because it has the second most painful sting of any insect on the planet, coming in just barely behind the bullet ant. Pack and a half-inch stinger with a potent venom that has been described as blinding, debilitating, and electric. Now, the size and poison aren't just for nothing, because as the name tarantula hawk wasp suggests, they are purpose-built, genetically perfect killing machines designed specifically to violate spiders, making Australia basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for them. But they don't just execute the spiders. No, that'd be too normal. Hawk wasps use spiders to reproduce in one of the most horrific ways possible. And that all starts with a female hawk wasp hunting down a tarantula. As the buff bulking spider takes a wrong turn down a dark alley, the hawk wasp, noticing the 8 sets of TNs on his feet, proceeds to fucking jump him, flying down from above to land a sting into the spider's abdomen, instantly and permanently paralyzing it. The Bug Harbour Butcher then proceeds to drag the still completely conscious and aware spider into an isolated
just
kill
the
room,
screaming.
which is where the fucked up part really begins. Because our wasp isn't hungry, it's pregnant, and proceeds to lay its egg on the paralyzed spider's abdomen. After about 3 to 4 days, that egg hatches into a larvae. A very, very hungry larvae. Fortunately, there's a whole bunch of fresh fruit right here underneath them.
Of
That
course.
food being the still paralyzed, still very conscious and aware spider. The larvae burrows into the spider's abdomen and gets to work converting it into a KFC family bucket, consuming it from the inside out, purposely avoiding vital organs to keep the food nice and fresh. After it's done consuming a living being, the larvae breaks forth from the demolished corpse like a fucking chestburster and fucks off to continue the generational arachnid violation. Anywho, good luck getting any sleep tonight.
God, That's just it. It is very brutal. I've heard of the tarantula hawk wasps, but it is so fucking brutal.
Australia has just found zombified bugs. That's right, we are closer to the Walking Dead Down Under than you think. You see, just recently, a scientist by the name of Dr. Francois Broussard made a trek out to the remote savannah of the Northern Territory, with the goal of finding and cataloguing brand new species of insect unknown to science. I mean, me personally, I think we've found more than enough bugs, especially considering that half of them can send me directly into the fucking soil. But what do I know, right? Anyway, on his trip to the middle of nowhere, he stumbled across a colony of spiny savanna ants, which is a pretty normal thing to find out there. However, getting closer, he noticed something a little off. You see, the main ant colony was fine, completely normal. However, the several disfigured and deformed ant corpses clamped onto shoots of grass surrounding the colony like a Bug's Life version of Vlad the Inhaler, yeah, those were significantly less normal. Broussard, mildly unsettled by the ant gore on his timeline,
I've heard of the
took samples
like the
for
cordyceps
inspection,
fungus.
and upon getting a closer look, realized something both really cool and really spooky. The ants had been overtaken by fungus.
Big old red ones.
More accurately, a previously unknown strain of the cordyceps fungus, infamous around the globe for its ability to create zombie bugs. And the way it does it is unbelievably horrific. You see, it begins with a spore landing on an ant and producing a thin rope-like strand that penetrates and attaches to their exoskeleton. At which point the ant gets a little timer on his hotbar, counting down to a family reunion with his ancestors. Once inside, the fungus begins to take control of the ant's body and brain function, completely changing their behavior, replacing their colony-focused mindset with one single goal: climb. Its fungus-riddled mind drags its rapidly deteriorating body to the closest high point, which is usually a plant, with its final act being to clamp its mandibles onto the stem in a death grip. Finally succumbing to the infection and being completely consumed, its corpse blossoming into a fully grown cordyceps fungus and raining down spores onto the rest of the colony to continue the cycle of infection. Now look, I know this fungus is found elsewhere in the world, but it's a new strain and it was found in Australia. With my luck, I'm going to be playing The Last of Us against couch-sized spiders within the fucking week.
Yeah, the thing, a lot there are people who don't know this, but it is practically impossible for the cordyceps virus or any strain of the cordyceps fungus, to infect humans. For one big reason, our internal body temperature. It is entirely too hot for a fungus to survive, for the cordyceps fungus to survive inside the human body. Because if I remember correctly, ours like 98 point something degrees internally. And yeah, it's unless the fungus has a reason to evolve in order to survive higher temperature areas, it will be impossible for us to ever be fungus zombies like The Last of Us. So we as humans have nothing to worry about because it cannot infect us.
Koalas are really dumb.
Bonk.
In fact, Australia's fuzzy icon is probably the dumbest thing on the planet. And that stupidity starts with their diet, because of all the things they could have chosen to eat, they chose to eat nothing but straight up poison. You see, koalas
But they're adorable.
feed exclusively on eucalyptus leaves, which, shocking no one, are highly toxic, because they are full to the brim with eucalypt oil, which is so fucking poisonous that as little as 3.75 mil is enough to land you in the afterlife, with the Reaper asking you why the fuck you felt the need to eat a leaf.
Why?
Oh, it's also highly flammable and burns like napalm.
Because of course it does.
Now, despite nature putting up this giant do not eat sign, that did not stop the koala, because he can't fucking read. This suboptimal bulking diet not only gives the koala fuck all in the way of nutrition, but also requires their body to rest to filter out the toxins so they don't fucking cark it. Meaning they need to spend upwards of 18 hours a day sleeping in order to just digest their fucking
That just sounds so nice, being able to sleep that long every single day.
food. These dumbasses spend most of their life in a food coma. That is, however, if they even get to the food to begin with.
Look at them. Not a singular thought behind those eyes. Not a singular thought. Bright-eyed, no brain.
Because they are so mind-numbingly brain dead that they will not recognize a eucalyptus leaf as food unless it is on the branch. I could give this dumbass a lifetime supply of food, and if it wasn't on a stick, he would starve to death. It should come as no surprise to you at this point that the koala has such an esky temperature IQ that they literally have a smooth brain.
No wrinkles. The thoughts just slide right off that.
The thoughts slide right off of this dumb c***. I love him.
He is adorable, but my god, are they stupid.
Crocodiles are just dinosaurs that forgot to go extinct. I am dead serious, and I cannot think of a croc species to better make my point than the saltwater crocodile, a species native to the land down under, and shocking absolutely no one, yes, it can and will eat you. You see, keeping on theme with the whole forgetting to go extinct thing, the salty stat spread just feels like something that should have been patched out with the rest of Jurassic Park, starting with their ridiculous size.
Yeah, they are
You see,
fucking huge.
salties are the largest reptile on the planet, coming in at a total of 6 fucking meters long with a maximum weight of 1,100 kilos, which makes this murder lizard genuinely longer than my fucking car. And the fucked up part is that despite being longer than my ute, they are for some reason absolute masters of stealth. You see, crocs are ambush predators, which is a scientific way of saying they are dirty fucking campers.
Because of course they are. They gotta be.
You see, they've got 2 raised eyes that sit on the top of their heads, which means they can submerge their Ford Falcon-sized frame basically entirely under the water without sacrificing the ability to spot whatever they are looking to turn into a Happy Meal. And from your perspective as the Happy Meal, they are really difficult to see, which makes it very easy to walk just a little too close and, yeah, get bitten in half by that hydraulic press they call a mouth.
That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
That's right, just like any good camper.
That snap just sends a shiver down your spine.
These scaly assholes are packing a one-shot in the form of one of the highest bite forces of any animal on the fucking planet, having been recorded at putting out a maximum of 3,700 psi.
If I remember correctly, the alligator, the crocodile here, has the second highest bite force in the animal kingdom, and I believe it's the alligator snapping turtle that has the #1 highest bite force, and I think that one is like between 4,000 and 6,000 psi.
I have force through their jaws. To put that into context, your skull will crack at 1,100 psi, so a croc would pop your head like a watermelon. And if you don't immediately get folded by the first bite, those jaws will latch onto you as the croc begins a death roll, spitting its ton of body weight like a washing machine until whatever part of you it has decided to eat snaps off and is added to its protein goals. But the best thing about the crocodile is their build is so fucking good. They have genuinely been around with very little evolutionary change for 65 million years.
I think the only real evolutionary change they've had is their size, because they used to be fucking gigantic, but now the saltwater croc is basically as big as it gets.
Which means I grew up watching Steve Irwin wrestle dinosaurs for fun. Rest in peace, you absolute f***ing legend.
Yeah, we miss him. Such a great guy. I'm so glad that his kids decided to, you know, continue his work.
This bear was actually a soldier. But how? You see, it was 1942, and the 22nd Polish Artillery Company were passing through the mountains of Iran, on their way to the front lines to fight the Nazis. While passing through a town on their way, they were stopped by a young Iranian shepherd, looking to trade with them for rations and a Swiss Army knife. When the Poles asked what he had to offer in return, the young shepherd produced a burlap sack containing an orphaned Syrian brown bear cub. You see, this bear's mother was shot by hunters, which is how he ended up in a low-tech Pokeball being offered as a trade deal. The Polish looked at the bear and, clearly seeing the potential for insane dad lore, said, "Damn good deal." And in the most
Damn good
worthwhile
deal.
trade deal in history, parted ways with their supplies in exchange for a f***ing Pokemon, adopting him into their ranks and naming him Voytech. And
Voytech.
Voytech immediately set about raising this little man as a proper bear and soldier.
Maggots!
As a baby, they would feed him condensed milk out of an empty vodka bottle, as well as feeding him on the
God.
cartoon bear diet consisting of fruit, honey, and marmalade. They also appointed a soldier as his caretaker, who wasted no time in showing Voytech how to fit in with the rest of the army, teaching Yogi's little cousin to wave, salute, and even march. While not undergoing rigorous military training, Voytech would hang out with the soldiers. He drank coffee with them in the morning, trained with them in the day, and when they all got shit-faced in the evening, he would f***ing wrestle with them. Do you know how much a brown bear has to love you to wrestle you? On top of double rations, they would also feed
Brown
Voytech
bears are usually
treats in
very
the form of
aggressive.
beer and cigarettes. They let the bear have smoko. Eventually, Army High Command heard about this and were having absolutely f***ing none of it. You see, pets were not allowed in the army, which meant Voytech had to go. Or did he? Because the 22nd Artillery Company officially enlisted him.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Voytech was given a serial number and granted the rank of private, so when confronted about the very
Yeah.
conspicuous bear in their ranks, they simply went, "That's not a bear, that's Private Voytech." And Voytech took his new role very seriously, as during the Battle of Monte Cassino in 1944, Voytech began using his bulk to transport artillery shells and ammo to soldiers engaged in combat. They had a fucking resupply bear. For his bravery, he was promoted to the rank of corporal, and the 22nd changed their insignia to a bear carrying an artillery shell. This absolute unit smoked, drank, and dropped artillery on the Nazis. Based.
Must have been so weird for new recruits to come in and get the rank of private, only to see that they are outranked by a giant fuck-off brown bear named Voytech. That is just epic. Well, that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give a like and subscribe. I post videos 3 to 5 days a week here. I also post videos over on my other channel for gaming as well, so please make sure to give that a look-see, see if you enjoy that as well. I also stream anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week as well. Links to all my social medias will be on my YouTube page. And with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.